How is everyone today? This is the same day that I did the morel mushroom slurry video. And I am also decided that today's a great day that I can go ahead and germinate seeds too. So that's what this video is going to be about. I have you in my grow room right now. I know it's really bad lighting, but let me show you what I've got and let me show you the process of how I germinate my seeds for my gardens. So I've been doing a lot of cleaning in here. I don't know if you saw my video on my laundry room makeover. I showed you a little snippet of how bad it was in this room. It's actually, even though it's still a mess, I plan on having a yard sale to get rid of more of these things, but it is 90% better. This is my grow station. And this is where I plan on placing all of my seeds to germinate. I have a switch down below to turn it on. All of my grow lights connected. So when it's on, it's on. There are options of turning off some of the grow lights by these switches. I can go into more detail if you would like in regards to how I selected my lights and the lumens. If you decide to have some type of a grow system in your house and you're new at this, lumens is very important. And Kelvins is very important. I will link a video in the description box below of one of the sources that I use to determine which grow lights I selected. I can also link below where I purchased these lights on Amazon. Hopefully they still have them in stock, but if they're not in stock, I'll link something that's similar to what I got. First things first, this is the area that I'm going to be putting together all of my trays with the starting soil and my seeds. Before I do that, I have to clean and sterilize all of my seed trays from last year because I don't want any contaminants transferring from last year to this year. So how I am going to sterilize my trays is I'm taking all the trays outside, I'm going to hose them down. I'm using this vinegar and I happen to have this spray bottle. And I am just going to hose out the trays and spray the vinegar, let it set for a while, and then rinse them out. Then I'll be bringing them back into the house. So then I will show you the soils that I use. This is new this year. It was off of a recommendation from Veggie off of Acre Homestead. And what I've used in past years, I've always used this, which is the Jiffy Natural Organic Seed Starting Mix. But once I get those trays clean, I'll come in the house and I'll show you the next step. Real quick before I get started, I want to show you, this is my garden. I've been growing since 2020 in here. Todd was so generous. I mean, I helped him a little bit, but he built this garden for me. I basically showed him a design and he did the rest. Oh, let's see what we got. Oh my goodness, we got some stuff growing here. I'm not sure what that is, but that's a weed and that's a weed. But let me show you my garlic. So I did a video back in the fall of growing over 100 bulbs of garlic. And this is what it looks like right now. This has been growing since the fall and today is March 16th. I'm a little delayed in getting my seeds germinated, but at least I'm getting it done. So this is my garlic. Look how great it's doing. It is doing so well. So hopefully it continues. Oh my goodness, and look, my asparagus is coming up. I just noticed that. I'm gonna have to cut some of those and we might eat those tonight. And this is the area where I just literally sprinkled asparagus seeds like 3 years ago, I think it was. We had a little bit growing last year, but nothing like that. Look how thick that is. And this is my other garden, which is on the other side of the tree line. My other garden's back here. And this is the extended garden that we have. Last year and the year before I planted pumpkins and didn't do so well due to the squash bugs and probably more than likely the vine borers. But this year I am going to be planting green beans, both pole and bush beans, and all kinds of peppers in this area right here because that is the food that we eat a lot of and that we love to eat. Between the peppers, the tomatoes, green beans, And cucumbers. I'll probably put a couple of cucumbers here and in the other garden too. Divide and conquer, right? Let me go ahead and get those trays cleaned up so we can get those seeds growing so we have a wonderful harvest this year. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm like squirrel whenever it comes to the growing season. I see everything growing. Do you see all of these dandelions? I am thinking about making some dandelion jelly or honey or whatever they call it. I think I might do that because this is the time of year where all the dandelions are nice and fresh. Look at all of them. They're everywhere. Let me know if you've made dandelion jelly before and what you think of it, and if you have an amazing recipe. I have a couple recipes, but yeah, let me know if you have a favorite. I'm going to get back to the project at hand. I am going to spray out these trays, spray it down with the vinegar to try to sterilize these trays, to then go get into the project of germinating the seeds. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this container, and I've already washed it out and sprayed the vinegar in it. I am going to be placing the soil that I ordered online from Amazon. Like I said, it was a recommendation to use. It has different nutrients in it, and I'll pop that on the screen. And this soil, I'm just going to do maybe a half and half mix. I know whenever seeds germinate, everything in the seed can germinate just fine without added nutrients. However, it's once they have been germinated and they now have the green leaves, they will require some type of nutrients the bigger they get. So that's why I'm mixing both together, and I'm going to do about probably a half and half. And I'm going to add water to it. I'll show you the consistency I get it to before I place it in the trays for planting the seeds. Oh, that looks pretty good. Don't know if you can see in there. This soil is a peat moss that they use. So we're going to start with that. This is my pitcher of water. I have 2 of them that I leave out overnight to allow the chlorine to evaporate. So I'm going to be using this water. And I'm just going to dig in. Okay, that looks pretty mixed. And now I'm just going to start adding the water. I am not looking to saturate this water. I don't want it to be dripping wet, but I want it to be moist because that's going to give the seeds the opportunity to initially get wet and try to absorb some of that water in there. But I don't want it too wet because I don't want the soil to mold quickly. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. The texture I want is when I squeeze it together, I want it to hold its shape. So I think I need to add just a little bit more water. And this is honestly the easiest way to just get in there. And it's the easiest way. Just get in there, get dirty, it's okay. You're gonna have dirt on your hands and under your nails. Now, if you don't like that, you're more than welcome to wear gloves, but I just dig on in there. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed. So that feels pretty good. I am going to go ahead and call this done in terms of the amount of water. And I'm just going to go get one of my trays and I will fill it. So here is one of my trays. I've seen people using I believe they call it like a block soil method. I already have these plastic trays and I'm gonna probably continue using these until they fall apart. And then I'll decide whether or not I'm gonna buy more trays like this or go to the block soil method. So basically all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to come in here and fill the trays. I don't wanna pack it in too tight. I'm basically just throwing it in and then spreading the soil with my hands, kind of leveling it off. So I'm not pressing it down in there. I don't want it too compact. I want to keep it as light as possible. Okay, so I'm at this point and now I'm just going to select what seeds I plan on planting and let's get to it. I'm going to go ahead and quickly fill these bigger cells also. I have a tray for this, and the reason why I'm doing the bigger size is because I'm going to plant my tomatoes and peppers in this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant several seeds in each one, let them germinate, and then I will thin them out and place them in individual containers and let them continue to grow. But this is a good way of me seeing how well the seeds germinate and to select the strongest seedlings before I transplant up to an individual container. So with this, it's similar. I'm just gonna go in and scoop it, and I'm just gonna continue filling these until the soil is gone. So to catch you up on what I've been doing, I went ahead and I added all the seeds in this tray right here. As you can see, I have several different seeds in each one. I'll go through what I planted in here, and I'll be covering this slightly with some soil just to cover the top. Let's go ahead and start. The first one is and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, a Pontano Romanesco. This is a Baker's Creek. And the description on this, it talks about how a Roman heirloom that was sent to us by Mr. Barbetti from Italy. Large and deep red fruit. Flesh is very rich, juicy, and singularly flavorful. So I have a couple of those trays with lots of seeds. I'm actually hoping that at least half of them germinate. That will be plenty of plants for us, including with not only eating, but canning. Then next I have the Martino Romas. I have 3 of them. This one, and this one. That one also is a Baker's Creek. Says a determinant, which tells me it is more of a bush. I'll probably stake those up because they can get really big, but not as big as the indeterminates where you absolutely have to trellis or stake them up. But the Martino's Roma tomato is a determinant. Says a fantastic yields of richly flavorful plum-shaped tomato or paste tomatoes on compact plants, tolerates early blight. So the reason why I'm planting some Romas, because there's another one here from Burpee Romas that let's see, it looks like 3 of those cells, but this is from Burpee. And it's an organic. This is what it is, organic. It actually says it was packed to sell by 2021. I'm gonna go ahead and plant them anyway, see if they germinate. Sometimes seeds do, sometimes they don't. But I already had, honestly, I had all of these seeds, so it didn't cost me a cent this year for any of these seeds. So this is another Roma. Again, we're gonna be using a lot of these Romas for canning, making tomato pastes, salsas, and things like that. Then we have the classic beefsteak. That was a Baker's Creek. If you get back here, we have Craig's Grande Jalapeno. That's Baker's Creek. I have 2 of those. And then I have, okay, so these honey bombs. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of honey bombs. These 2 right here are honey bombs. So this is what the honey bombs are. We bought them, I think it was Aldi's. They were absolutely amazing. Now, I don't know if these are going to germinate or not, but they were so delicious and so sweet. Like, there was a slight hint of a honey. Let me know if any of you have ever tried to plant any of these honey bombs. I know sometimes companies or farmers will spray something on it so that the seeds can't germinate, but we'll see. And if they do, oh my gosh, they are just so good. So I decided I was going to go ahead and try that. So then I have the Craig's Grande Jalapeno, 2 of those. I have Poblanos from Baker's Creek. I did a jalapeno early. This was a Ferry Morris, so probably like a Walmart. I have one tray of, I call it a green or red pepper. If you leave the green bell pepper on the plant, it's going to eventually turn red. That's a giant Ozark from Baker's Creek. And then I planted, what is that? A Cayenne Long Slim. And I think I bought that at the Dollar Tree. You do have to be careful with seeds from Dollar Tree. I know last year I planted some, I thought it was an herb of some sort, I think chives. It turned out to be like petunias or something like that. So they kind of took over a little bit of my garden. So you do have to definitely be careful of Dollar Trees. And I think, honestly, I think every place can be guilty of, you know, innocently, they accidentally package the wrong seeds in the package that they serve. Now these two trays right here, these are the little cells. I have this little tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of make a space. Let's start right here. I'm just going to make a little space, maybe go down about 1/4 inch, and I'll sprinkle in the seeds. Now, I do a lot of companion planting whenever I plant my garden. I don't know if you saw any of my videos from last year. By the way, this is really, I've only been making videos. I started video recording and posting April of last year, so it hasn't quite been a year yet, but I like to video these videos for like a live journal, so I can go back and watch to see exactly what I did, because even though I take notes, sometimes I forget where I put the notes and sometimes they're sloppy. But anyways, this was one of the seeds that I got last year in my seed haul. It was a free seed, and it's the orange flame marigold. So between marigolds and nasturtiums is another good companion plant. I know I've talked about that in my previous videos, why they are beneficial in your garden. They are used for more of a trap plant, and marigolds are more for a deterrent for the pests that might harm your vegetables that you grow. I know I'm going to be planting more than just this, but I'm going to be doing as many as I can for both the nasturtium and the marigolds. I also want to get some cucumbers planted, some cantaloupe that I have that was from Baker's Creek. It was absolutely delicious. I know I seed saved some of those seeds. I want to get some herbs planted like sage. Let's see what else. I already have a lot of herbs. Oh, I might plant some more rosemary. I do a lot of herbs in my garden. In my landscaping. I like to plant a lot of edible stuff in my landscaping around the house. I have blueberry bushes. I have various herbs such as oregano, thyme. Thyme is an amazing ground cover. So if you just need ground cover, thyme is a great way of not only having edibles, being able to eat the herbs, which we've gone out and cut them even in the middle of winter because they were so hardy. So I continued planting. I do have the marigolds are all in this section right here to where the stick is. And then I have 2 rows of the nasturtium. And then on this side, I have some munchers cucumbers. They're from Baker's Creek. And then I have 3 rows of cucumbers, and they're called Poinsett 76. These were actually really old seeds. These were expired in 2008, so we'll see how those do. And then I have, these were those cucumbers that I was talking about. I don't speak French, but these, when I grew these, they were like the best ever. This is what they are from Baker's Creek, and that's how you pronounce it. Well, at least that's how you spell it. The Petit Gris de Rennes melons. I never took French, so I don't know how to pronounce that. I took Spanish. Anyways, when I grew this, last year I wasn't very successful just because I threw them in as seeds and they didn't really do very well. But the year before, I grew some and they were like the best cantaloupe I'd ever tasted, like the sweetest. So I have 5 of those that I planted. I'll go ahead and I'll cover all that soil whenever I put it in the grow room. a row of sage. These were sage seeds that I saved from my sage plant. This is the bag, and I just kind of popped the flowers off and the seeds had fallen to the bottom. And I did the same thing for my lavender, which I'll show you real quick before the end of this video, how you can easily collect lavender seeds if you have lavender plants in your yard and just regrow them, because that's how I have several of the lavender out in my landscaping right now. Rosemary, I think this was maybe a Baker's Creek rosemary. And then over here, I went ahead and planted some banana peppers from Baker's Creek. So I'm going to do the same concept as what I did with the other tomatoes and peppers. And then I have a couple of the munchers here, even though I have them in the other smaller tray. And then, I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's Campari tomatoes. Those were purchased at Sam's. I just seed saved them. Those were actually really good tomatoes too. So I'm praying and hoping the honey bombs and the Campari tomatoes, I'm really hoping they didn't spray anything on them where I can't germinate them, because if I can grow them, oh my gosh, they're fantastic. And then these were those, the cantaloupe from Baker's Creek. I have a couple of them planted in here. And then I'm going to plant some lavender in there and rosemary. Actually, I think I already popped some rosemary seeds in here. I'm going to go collect some more, but I want to show you what it looks like on the plant if you've never done this before. Okay, so I'm outside here. Zeus is wanting to go inside. Now on these plants, this is what the seed pods look like right here. The first time I had seen these, honestly, I don't know if you can see that. I thought it was some kind of a fungus or something growing on them. Okay, there you go. So that's what it looks like. I seriously thought it was some kind of a fungus. Okay, boys, enough. They really do love each other. They're just playing. I don't think Max is going to have it, though. Max is like 13 years old. Zeus keeps him young. I think Zeus is... How old are you? I think you're going to be 10 this year? No way. Is he that old? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. That's crazy. But, okay, back to the lavender plants. So, this is what they look like. So you just pop those off, and then you can... Oh, let me grab my bag. So I'm going to grab some of these and I'll bring them in the house and show you how you can break them out into your hand and get the seeds out of them. I don't know how well you can see this. I just kind of put this on the plate, and if you just kind of run your fingers over the pods that contain the seeds. Can you see those two little black seeds right there? So those are the seeds. And I'm just going to sift through these and get several seeds out. I'm just going to pop them in the growing cells in the tray, and so I can get those germinated. Now, I do have to tell you, it does take a long time for these to germinate. That's when I've learned a long time ago that you just have to be patient, because some things could take up to 30 days to germinate. Some things might only take a few days to germinate. But one thing I know is it definitely gives me pleasure when I know I can grow something from something so small, such as these little seeds, into such a large plant. This might be a better view of the seeds. Can you see how small some of these seeds are? Actually, can you see how small these seeds are? That's how tiny they are. They're super tiny. But oh my gosh, they smell amazing even in this form. And I do love lavender. It makes for a great landscape. There are so many benefits to lavender. I had a mess to clean up. So these are all of my empties. I had a bunch of them that I still had seeds left. I went ahead and put those away. But this is for my live journal, so I know what I planted, because these are going to be pitched. And what I ended up doing with the remaining, all of these on the seed tray, the seeds that were exposed, I just took this starting mix, the seed starting mix, and I just grabbed a handful and I just sprinkled it over the seeds, just so they were covered. I'm going to give them a quick water on the top, and then after that I will be able to water them from the bottom, which I will just put water in the bottom and allow it to absorb and soak up that way. Okay, let's go ahead and get them in the grow room. So I am using this device. It is a waterer. I know Todd, he would use this for barbecue sauces, so I borrowed it once, and then he ended up buying a separate one for him because he's like, just keep it. So this is for watering on the top surface, and I normally only water on the top surface in the beginning until those seeds germinate. Once they germinate, I like to try to, I also water from the bottom, but I like to try to water from the bottom all the time once the seeds have been germinated. And so you fill it with your water, and then you pump the top. I've already tweaked it into the how much of a spray that I want on there. And then I come through and just come in and spray. Let me go ahead and let me see if I can bring it closer. Okay, then I just come in here and I spray the surface. I just make sure the surface is completely damp just to get those seeds germinating. And I will continue doing this for all of them. And then I will pop a top on it to keep that humidity in there. And these lights do put off some heat. So between the heat of the lights, it's not bad lights because these are LED lights. So it's not like super, super hot lights, but it's just enough heat between that and the dome that goes on top. It gives it the perfect environment. Oh, plus, I don't know if you see this. This is a heating mat. I go ahead and I will plug this in, and for my pepper plants and tomato plants, because they like the heat to germinate, I will place those on these mats. I'll go ahead and link all of this below if you're interested. And this room gets warm enough so whenever I'm making bread, it's at perfect temperature for my bread dough to rise. So I feel completely accomplished today. I was about 2 or so weeks late getting these seeds germinated, but I at least got them done. I know it doesn't look like it's taken up so much space right now. I'm only using 3 of the levels, but once those tomato and pepper plants start germinating and I start separating them out to then put them in individual containers, that will take up more of the space, and possibly even using this 4th shelf as well. But anyways, there were things that I didn't show you in the video that I did. Some of the things I did is I cleaned up around the gazebo and I added lemon balm around there, because my goal is to try to keep the mosquitoes at bay so we can sit in that gazebo in the summertime and enjoy the beautiful weather. I hope that you gained some value from this video, and if you've never germinated seeds before and maybe you were a little intimidated by it, don't be. And if you ever decide that you want to germinate seeds and have a garden, don't think you have to have this huge garden. You can create a space that's maybe, like a 4x8 area and still have a couple of tomato plants, a couple of pepper plants, some herbs, maybe a couple other things, to get you started, just to see if that's something that you might want to do. There are containers that you can plant in. I know I also use green stalks. There are bags, grow bags they call them. You can grow in buckets. There's so many different things you can grow vegetables in if that's what you choose to do. But if you've never done this before, just start small and work your way up. See what worked this year, and whatever didn't work this year, then, change it up a little bit. Or if it works well, you can add maybe 1 or 2 more things the following year. To my girls, if you are watching and you decide one day that you do want to start growing, here's how I germinate the seeds. I know you don't always see me from beginning to end in my gardening journey each year, but this is how you do it. Anyways, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video, And if you would like to continue following me on this gardening journey, I also do other videos that is anything surrounding our home, inside and out. It can be anything to do with gardens, chickens. We do some makeovers, we do woodworking, we do cooking, we do grilling. It's everything about our home and what makes our home a home. Anyways, until next time, thank you for watching.